My dear, sweet listeners, I say this with all the love in my heart. If you haven't traveled in beautiful Portugal yet, what are you waiting for? You are missing out big time. Iconic beaches, delicious wine, centuries of history, and honestly, some of the most beautiful people that you will ever meet. Why do you think we moved here? So, when you're ready, we are ready to help you plan the most perfect customized Portugal itinerary just for you, and more importantly, how you like to travel. Family trip with the kiddos, lazy girl travel, history buffs, foodies, combinations of all of those, we got you. After exploring Portugal since 2022 and then immigrating here, we're really excited to build travel plans for you that help you see this gorgeous, special place by understanding the way that you like to travel. Book a free call with us right now on our Stan store at stan.store/PortugalJunkies, and we'll talk through your ideal trip and start planning your customized Portugal itinerary. You'll even get your final itinerary on an app to use during your trip for easy access right on your phone while you're here. Remember, adventure is a verb, y'all. We're excited to help you plan yours.
Good morning, Portugal Junkies.
Good morning. Bom dia.
Bom dia. We are here with, for me, a cup of tea, and for you, some very milky-looking coffee.
Creamy coffee.
And
let me tell you, I made his
add
coffee.
More than, what was it you say to me? It's like, oh, yeah, with some cream, but add more than you think.
Yeah, I want. Well, he asked me the other day which coffee pod I wanted, and I was like, I want the regular coffee pod, but with a little bit more cream than you think.
Yeah.
And he laughed at me. I'm like, well, it's accurate.
It is. It's a bit too
you
creamy for me.
Underpour the cream for me.
Yeah.
Now, not anymore. But I made his tea this morning, and I thought to myself, wow, we've almost been married, almost 7 years, almost known each other for 8.
Yeah.
And I still get nervous that I'm making your tea wrong.
This one is pretty dang good.
Good.
I'll give you that.
I'm learning.
I mean, it's the first one of the day, so there's nothing to compare it with, but it's pretty damn good.
Good. I'm so glad. Well, we missed you guys.
Hello.
We've been busy.
We have.
My sister came to visit, my little munchkin Megan.
Yeah.
And she was here for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, 12 days, something like that.
And we had a fantastic time. Mm-hmm. Like, it is my favorite thing when people from home come and visit us and we get to, show them everything. Well, we showed her as much as possible.
Yeah, there was no way we were going to show or see everything.
No way.
I think I put that in the comments on one of the on a Facebook post or something about the fact that we were in Madeira for, 4 days.
Mm-hmm. And
we saw so much in those 4 days, but it didn't scratch any of the surface.
We might have seen about 15%.
I mean, we did a lot of good stuff, like a lot of big box ticket stuff, like items.
First timer stuff.
But we're not going to go into that because we're going to do an episode on that.
I think we should. So the highlight is Megan got here. She spent a couple days in Tavira with us. We went to Sevilla one day for just the day because we're so close. And she's never been to Spain. And
it's like
then,
tick on the...
and then we went to Madeira for 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days.
4.5 days? It was like
4
nights.
Days.
Was it 4 nights?
Oh, God.
I can't even remember. Anyway, something
I think it's
like that.
4 days.
And then we came back and spent a couple more days here.
Yep.
So it was a really good balance, I think. But like Mark said, we definitely have aspirations to do a recap of Madeira because it was literally one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. It's going to be when people go on holiday to the Caribbean, well, this is going to be our Caribbean destination.
Because it's only 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half flight from Lisbon. That is on the basis that you don't have an aborted landing and have to circle around or get transferred to a different airport.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Well,
why would you say that?
We're okay.
It's terrible.
We're okay.
Anyway, it's a kind of a dangerous airport to land in Madeira. Like, pilots have to be specifically certified or trained or something in order to be able to do those routes. So
absolutely.
But we were fine.
Of course we were. Never had a doubt.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was easy landing.
Megan might have had a doubt.
Yeah, Megan might. We didn't tell Megan that. We kept that to ourselves quiet. So that she wasn't even worried about it.
It's like, no.
But we had done a couple of podcasts over the past couple of weeks about things that blow our mind still in Portugal after 16 months. But it also made us think, what are the things that we're not quite used to still?
Yeah. What is it that we haven't gotten used to? So, I mean, I sometimes sit in the dining room or in the lounge, and you're in the kitchen cooking up somethings, which is always a delight for me. It's like, oh, what's that going to be? And then I hear this like, oh, what is it? Tell me what that frustration is about.
Are you talking about in the kitchen?
In the kitchen.
Oh. So I am the cook of this family.
Thankfully.
Typically. I love to cook. And the transition here has been a little bit more challenging because of the metric system.
Yep.
I mean, and I know that sounds so ignorant because we are the country who should be on the metric. I mean, USA is basically the outlier, right? I get it. I get all that. I agree with all of that. However, when you grow up...
However, comma.
When you grow up not working on the metric systems as often or really at all, especially in the kitchen, it's a hard transition for me. And so the grunt you're probably referring to is like when I'm trying to do something, I'm more of a, cook with your heart kind of girl. I'm not a good baker. I don't like the rules and the follow this recipe to the letter. But when I do have to do that or even need to understand rough quantities of things, it's still very hard for me because it'll be in grams or something like that. And I'm just like, and here's the other thing. So it's not even just about the measurements. Mm-hmm. It's about metric sizing here. Like I cannot for the life of me remember what my shoe size is half the time in the EU. And that's fine. I pull out my trusty phone and I figure it out.
Well, you could look on the shoe that you're wearing and generally tell
True. I mean, you find a solution. But in US, I'm an 8.5. I don't even have to think twice about it. Here, I can't remember. Am I 38? Am I 40? Am I 30? I can't remember. Don't even get me on pant sizes here. That's already bad in the US. I don't even know anymore.
That can be very chaotic here, and it really does depend on what sort of shop.
It's just like anything else. Go in there, put the clothes on, and see if they fit you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing is.
Oh, there's another thing.
Yeah. The nutrition labels is really where it gets me.
Right.
Because I try to be conscious. I'm not necessarily tracking everything, but I do like to know an idea of how healthy a food really is or how bad it is for me. And I can't here. They won't give you a true serving size, if that makes sense. They do everything by the 100 grams in most cases. So
or 100 mil.
Or 100 mil. So I'll give you an example. Chickpeas in the can. If they say 100 grams of chickpeas, but the whole can is 150 grams, they're not telling you, how do I describe this? It's frustrating to me that they do it by that because that's not necessarily a proper serving size because of certain foods, right? 100 grams is not something you might not eat of peanut butter.
Right.
But they're going to tell you how much nutrition, the value by 100 grams. Well, I want a tablespoon or how many milliliters would be a tablespoon?
I have no idea.
Whatever,
I'm not in the
right?
Well, the only time I'm in the kitchen is to tidy up, clean up.
It does me no good to know how much 100 grams of peanut butter nutritional values are. Right. Because I'm never going to eat 100 grams in one sitting, hopefully. But this is my problem with it. You have to do so much freaking calculation.
Right.
And maybe this is just the American in me, and I just shouldn't worry about it as much. Because it's going to be rough of whatever it was in the U.S. Right. But it is very... I don't understand why that's the baseline.
Right. It only really comes as a problem, though, when you're baking something. When you're cooking, a meal, as you said at the beginning, you lead with your heart.
Yeah.
So,
It's not necessarily just the baking, but it is just everyday foods that the serving size that... I feel like serving sizes really just don't exist, is what it is here, right?
You don't see it listed or written specifically as serving size.
Right. They're going to do it per 100 grams.
Right.
Which is not often a serving size.
But again,
logically.
Get a calculator.
But this is my thing, it's a problem.
Maybe that's what I'll get you for Christmas.
No, I don't need no. Anyway, so that's something that I still can't get used to here. I'm trying, and I'm not, again, none of this is talking bad, but it is just so frustrating because I'm so used to.
Yeah, it's your daily observation of like.
Oh, just daily life stuff. I am not going to eat 100 grams worth of potato chips right now.
Are you sure?
Well,
you could.
Hope not.
Listen, when we moved to Portugal not knowing a bit of Portuguese, I was so nervous about a lot of things. But the visa process was the most nerve-wracking, including the part where, you sign a legal document like a lease when you don't even know how to read the language. So we were referred to our lawyer, João Pinto, to get some help with translating, interpreting, and negotiating our lease in Porto. And he was so awesome that we've decided to keep him. But now, that one simple task that he helped us with has opened our eyes to everything that he does. He specializes in helping Americans move to Portugal, the entire visa process, and even buying a home here. We did our visa process all on our own, and now looking back, part of me really wishes that we had known João then and all that he could have helped us with to navigate the sometimes crazy path to get here. Good news for you though, he's graciously offered our listeners a free consultation call and a 10% discount. So, if you're looking for a trusted certified lawyer in Portugal to help you with your move to Portugal before, during, or after, we highly recommend João. He's super responsive, so smart, and a great communicator. Head over to our social media accounts on Instagram or TikTok. Access our stand store in the bio, and you can download João's list of services for free and schedule your free call and get 10% off. Cheers, y'all!
I'd say the other thing that we still can't get used to is like the lifestyle of staying out late and also having late mornings. That's very Portuguese. I would venture to say in general, it's very more so European than American any day.
Yeah.
To have like lazier mornings and
I'll put it in
later nights.
Yeah, I'll put it into context, certainly for me, over the last week or so of this whole shift in timeframes. I've been getting up much, much later, and then I have to, Meredith's already been up for an hour or so, more than that. I walk into the front room bleary-eyed, and it's bright as hell. I've just come from a cave. It's bright as hell, and I'm walking in there like, I'm going to die with that light.
That's only recently.
Yeah, it's only and that's what I'm saying, go back about a week. It's only been recent. But it's sort of walking out at 9:30 in the morning and going, sorry. It's like, and we'll come on to it in a second, but it's like, okay, you start at that 9:30, but then when we went out last night at 6:45 for dinner, and we were out until, 11:30? Something like that. Excuse me. I was really feeling tired. And if I'd have actually gotten up at a regular person's time, like 7 o'clock or something, I'd have been absolutely screwed.
Right.
So this whole idea of I know that I'm going to stay out late, therefore my combat to that is I'm going to get up later. Or I've done it once or twice where we've gotten up early, and we know that we're going to be out later, and I take a nap in the afternoon. And sometimes that's absolutely fantastic in the minute or in the moment. But yeah, that's not really the way to do it for me. I think if I can push through, but in order to push through, I just have to wake up a little bit later. But that is something I still haven't really gotten used to in terms of apologizing to you or to myself for being so late in getting up.
But
it's very odd.
That's the difference. I will also say that it's hard for me because I love to go to sleep early. It's just we've all I won't say always, but most of our time together, we are early to bed and more early to rise people, and it's just not like that as much here. And I'm not saying, normal Portuguese people are getting up and going to work. Okay, I'm not saying that that's all, but I am saying it is more of a slow morning place than this town is bustling at 6 a.m. and people are going and go and get coffee that early and all that. That doesn't exist, really.
Well, you won't get coffee early.
Right. No.
No point in going out before 8 a.m.
Which, as a coffee and breakfast person, that is really hard. But it's just like something that we're just having to still transition into. And I guess be more aware of. It's like, do you try to stay up a little later so that you sleep a little bit later? All the things. But I mean, you deal with it in the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a great time last night and
working.
I feel great today, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
But that was something that I've always been an earlier riser back in the States. And even when we were in Porto, because it was just one of those things where we both got up early. And I don't think we were going out or staying out as late in Porto as we are here. And there was so much more
going on
in Porto. I
do feel like sometimes we still miss out on a lot of stuff that goes on past 10 o'clock in this town.
Yeah, it's like, we've got a sort of a festival or a concert on, and it starts at 10 p.m.
That's right. Oh my God.
Terrific.
Local concerts, like community concerts, will start. It's nothing for them to start at 9:30 p.m. or 10 o'clock p.m. Yeah. And you're like, really?
But I can understand it. I really can, because in this heat that we are now starting to go through, 9:30, 9 o'clock, 8:30, it's starting to get really, really nice and more comfortable. You can't imagine them doing a concert at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Like
I mean, they do a concert at 2 a.m., believe me, somewhere. But yeah.
The other thing is, this kind of leads us there, is the Portuguese, like timing, right? Mm-hmm. So like, and again, don't come for me, but we've talked to Portuguese people about this cultural thing recently too, where it's like, let's say you're a contractor or a tradesperson or some sort of, service oriented where you're,
trade.
Some trade. And it's nothing for them to kind of yes you, right? To be like, yes, we can do that for you. We can do all this and we'll be there and blah, blah, blah. And then just not show up.
Right.
Or not show up at the time that you had decided. And it's like, we've had this happen a little bit in our apartment.
I will give you a case in point, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the case in point of, we needed some stuff fixing in the apartment. Got onto landlord was good, okay, fine, I'll get hold of the trade. Long story short, they'll be there on Monday at 9 a.m. Okay, great. 9 a.m. comes, nothing. 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Send him a quick text, get a message back. Oh yeah, sorry, he had a delay in something, so he can't come today. Okay, so that's fine. Was anybody going to tell me? Or just going to assume that, no show?
Right.
They'll be there tomorrow. Oh, okay, fine. And then probably something like 4:30 or 4:50 in the afternoon, knock on the door. It's like, I'm here to fix it. And I'm like, what if we decided to go out? What if we were doing something else and, all the rest of it? It's just like...
Or what if we changed our entire schedule for that whole day to be here?
Around being there for tomorrow and things like that. That really does aggravate me.
Yes.
I know that's a cultural thing. And I accept that...
And I know it's not everyone, but it is prevalent a lot.
I'm accepting that I'm in that culture.
Yes.
But at the same time, get your shit together.
Also, it does feel... I want to make sure I say this. Every time that has happened, when the people show up, they are the most
the nicest kind
ever. So it's
amenable.
Funny because I don't know if it's like almost like a laissez-faire part of the culture. Laissez-faire. How do you say it? Is it French? Say it.
I think.
Maybe it's a laissez-faire part of the culture where it's just like, I told you that I would do it and I will get it done, but it's like this, the agreement is that, yes, I can handle it for you. It's less emphasis on the details of when and how and all the things. Right. So anyway, that's hard. And it honestly, it has deterred us from even considering really doing much. Like we've thought about maybe potentially, remodeling a Portuguese apartment here and all that other stuff. And we've had Portuguese people tell us,
don't do it unless
don't do that unless you really want to just be patient about it.
Unless you know a solid tradesperson or persons
and we
that
don't
need for the electrics or the plumbing or the floor or the roof or the whatever.
It can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's a massive challenge.
Yeah.
Hey babe, how many times do you think that we rode the should we or shouldn't we move to Portugal roller coaster before we actually did it?
I don't know, maybe like 193 times.
Wouldn't it have been so cool if we had us during that time, to talk to?
Absolutely, I'd love talking to us.
Me too! So, we've decided we are going to be the us we needed for you guys. If you want to shoot the shit, ask us anything, or just get some real life perspective from our experience of moving from the US to Portugal, we are now opening up our calendar for one-on-one calls. We can also hook you up with some of our best legal, immigration, and tax partners who helped us along the way. You can choose a mini call for 30 minutes, or if you're talky-talky like me, an hour, and we'll hop on Zoom together to answer anything we can for you as you try to decide what's best for you in your potential move to Portugal. Book with us right now on our Stan store at stan.store/Portugal Junkies, and we'll see you there.
One of the other things is convenience. Convenience of getting the thing that you want in the moment that you want it, or within a reasonable time frame of when you want it. Okay, when we were back in the States, it was a case of, I need this really odd contraption. I know, I'll order it from Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. Or maybe even today, because we were so close to an Amazon outlet. Here, it's, okay, I need this gadget, gizmo, whatever. Where the heck am I going to find it? Because other than places like Leroy Merlin or Wharton or FNAC, there really aren't that many sort of big box stores like Best Buy, Lowe's.
Not even that. I would say Leroy Merlin are those places. But I think big box store as in like a Walmart, a Target, places like that most of the time have your household needs all in one place.
Right.
Whereas we have found here, electronics, you go to this place. Lawn care, you go to this place.
Right.
Kitchenware, you go to this place typically. Like, you can go to, so there's a store here, a grocery store typically called Continent here that is very, I would say the most similar to Target, like a super Target, which is mainly food. But then they have some houseware stuff and all that, but they don't have clothing. They don't do that kind of thing. They just might have
well, they've probably got a few bits of clothing, but nothing.
Maybe. Little bit.
Massive.
Most of it is a grocery store with a little bonus of that, right? And I don't want people to think that there's not Amazon here because there is.
Yeah.
It's just, we're trying to stay away from it for obvious reasons. And so this is one of those things that we're trying to get used to also to be more responsible of how we're spending our money too. But it is frustrating sometimes because especially when we first got here, we were like, where do you go to get an extension cord? I had no idea in Porto. He had to find it literally.
There's this old boy in a hardware store.
It was like a tiny little hardware store. That's where we ended up.
And it was great. And this is the other thing that blew my mind from that. And I bought 3 or 4 different lengths of extension cable and what have you, and a number of socket outlets. And I remember getting back to the apartment, it was like, it's the wrong one. Or I didn't have the one that I wanted, and I'd already taken it out the packet, unwrapped it, realized that it wasn't long enough. So I had to go back to the store. And when I went back to the store, I've still got all the packaging, but it's obviously been broken to access it through the plastic. And he just took one look at me and went, I can't take this back. The packaging is broken.
You only sold it to me 30 minutes
ago. I was like, here's the receipt from about 45 minutes ago. And it's like, he did it in the end. But it really just shows these differences.
Yeah.
They are so minimal, but they can be pretty big.
And I also think that was because that was a mom and pop type of shop. I
haven't
had trouble returning things or anything like that at any of the places at the mall or anything like that. But I do think that it's probably a financial thing. That is a cost to them somehow, and they just have a policy of
And it was, it was a case of fine, not a problem. I'll keep it. I think I've still got it somewhere. And I bought the new one I wanted. So honestly, he probably did better out of it than I did.
Right. Which in the big scheme
of things, like €8 or €9 or whatever it was. But at the same time, it's just these little cultural differences that you kind of walk along the line of hoping to get used to. But some things will just pop out of left field and go, hey, don't forget, you still haven't gotten used to this.
By the way, you still in a different country than you came from. Yeah, no, 100%. And the other thing I realized this week, this is like, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the lifestyle change and like later nights and later mornings. But like sometimes, even when we're with our friends and I'm having the greatest time, there are times when I still have trouble relaxing. And I don't know what that's about. So I'm relaxed. Maybe it's impatient. There's a, well, let's just say we go have something to eat.
Right.
We go have something to eat. And life here is very like 2-hour lunch, right? Have a couple of drinks. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I find that, let's say 70% of the time, I totally enjoy that.
Yeah.
And the other 30% is my Americanism. And I'm like, what's next? What are we doing next?
Right.
Is it time to go to the next place? What do you do? I mean, in my brain, there are still times when I'm like, not just naturally relaxed in the moment and doing it the European way of just enjoy yourself in the moment right now.
Or even you know, we had this the other day at one of the local cafes. We'd been somewhere, got the dog's nails done. As we were walking back, we thought, let's just have a befana and some fries and a drink. Sat down at the cafe, and you just think, did they see us sit down? Do they know we're here? I mean, we were waiting like 4 minutes. I mean, oh my God,
4 whole minutes.
It was such a long time of nobody paying me any attention, and you suddenly, and it just makes you realise how you've been, how your life was modelled, or how my life was modelled over the number of years up until now. Where look, if you can't wait for 4 minutes, then maybe go somewhere else.
Chill the hell out.
Or just chill the shit out. And it's fair enough. So, it's something else that I need to get used to.
I also just think that some of that comes from the culture of the customer is always right, and the customer in America, and I would say often in England too, right? Where it's like you are striving as a business to compete with other businesses. And so in order to do that, a lot of times it comes down to service and how fast you talk to a customer, how often you greet a customer, how quick you come back with their food, and blah, 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 blah. Yep. And that just isn't a thing here. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I do. But there are times where you're just it's ingrained in us, right? And so we're learning and we're unlearning a lot of things.
Yep.
This being one of them, where it's like, I shouldn't interpret waiting for 5 minutes without being greeted at a cafe as bad service.
Right.
It's just
you don't know what else they're doing.
Like they are expecting you to sit down and enjoy sitting and enjoy life until they can get you your drink order.
Right.
You know, and we just sometimes, I mean, this doesn't happen very often. It's only a couple times where I'm like, did they see us?
Yeah.
Do they know is it okay that we're sitting here?
Yeah.
You know, because you just are, it's just totally different. And you kind of like retreat back to what you knew for 45 years before you moved here, you know, talking about me. But yeah, I'm glad we catch ourselves.
Right.
I'm glad we catch ourselves and we're like, why are you reacting that way? That's a you thing, not a them thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's like your shit, my shit, like
own it and
own
shut
it
up.
and then right. And remember where you are and realize that it's not like somebody's trying to be rude or ignore you. It's just
that's the way it is.
Right.
So
like I'll get your coffee when I can get to getting the coffee. Like it's just
I mean, if you want a coffee quicker, go home and make it yourself.
So anyway, I think those are the top things that I feel like we are still working on.
But it was just interesting to reflect, I think.
Yeah.
It's simple, and it's also important to reflect. You know, at the end of the day, you're in a different country, in a different culture. We chose this. They didn't say, hey, how do you fancy a couple of years over here? You know, so get to it and just...
I'll also say, as much as it can be interpreted as like maybe an annoyance because we haven't gotten used to it, it can seem very negative, but I also think that these things are very endearing when I think about the Portuguese culture and I think about how our experience has been here and what we've learned from it. I'll take that any day because, again, it's like this culture and the people are just generally so warm and welcoming that it's kind of like, yeah, of course they're operating on Portuguese time.
Right.
Okay. Because that's what it
is.
You know, things like that I just find, I mean, you can either look at it and go, oh, that's a really hard thing to get used to, or you can look at it like those are things that we have to change about ourselves in order to get used to them. Yeah. Your perceptions, your, like assumptions, all that other stuff has to go out the window so that you aren't really assimilating. And that's really what assimilation is,
Yeah. So getting into it, who they are.
All right, you guys, we'll see you next week.
Yes. Take care. Have fun. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are. We're here.
We're here.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye.
Listen up, future expats. For more content about our move, the visa process, Portuguese culture and destinations, and tons of support resources for your own decisions and potential move abroad, follow us at Substack, TikTok, and Instagram at Portugal Junkies.
Stay in touch and help us reach more people by subscribing here and following us there.
Cheers, y'all.